could he do this? How could he make the Daleks forget the Doctor? I wish I could forget him. That's the introduction to Series 7. The Daleks forget the Doctor. Enjoy the ride, folks! It's gonna be a bumpy one! Hello, my fellow Whovians and subscribers, and welcome to the latest extreme, epic, major fucking rant on Doctor Who, Series 7. Yes, I start reviewing Matt Smith's third and final series, and what a way to kick it off. Asylum of the Daleks, or Asylum of the Daleks, or Arsewipe of the Daleks, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't deserve its title. So, Series 7, which aired in 2012 and 2013. The important thing to remember is this series was actually split into two parts, much like Series 6, although not quite in the same way. Basically, the first 5 episodes, which were the last stories to feature Amy and Rory, were aired in 2012, and then they had the 2012 Christmas special, The Snowmen, and then they aired part 2 of Series 7 in 2013. Which would then star the new companion, Clara. Asylum of the Daleks, wow. What can I say? Before I go into this, let's go over the plot. Even though there isn't one, let's just read the synopsis. Oh, and yes, this story was written by Stephen Moffat. I say written. Insane Daleks are about to escape the Dalek Asylum, where they are kept. The rest of the Daleks call on their greatest enemy, the Doctor, along with his companions, Amy and Rory, to lower the defences so that they can destroy the asylum. Can the Doctor save the day, along with his companion's marriage, as easily as he can fix his bow tie? Asylum of the Daleks. If you couldn't already tell, this is a crap, terrible Doctor Who story. This is, without question, one of the worst stories of Doctor Who ever. This is probably the worst Dalek story I've ever seen. It definitely goes down as one of Matt Smith's worst stories. I really feel sorry for him, but this is easily one of his worst stories. First of all, the story itself. Why the fuck would the Daleks ask their enemy, the Doctor, to fucking destroy the asylum? I mean, he would take great pleasure in that. But why would the Daleks even want to destroy their own asylum? I don't understand it. Like, they never explain it. Or if they did, I didn't pay attention. But it just makes no sense. Like, it starts out with the Doctor getting this message from this woman who somehow has a Dalek sucker in her head, and she has, like, a Dalek shooter in her hand, and she can exterminate the Doctor, and he's not affected by that whatsoever. And the Doctor, Amy, and Rory are brought to the Dalek ship, and they are instructed to go to the asylum and destroy it. You know, for what? Why? For what reason? And it doesn't make sense. It just goes on from there. We discover there's this girl there who's called Oswin, and she's trapped on the asylum, played by Jenna Coleman, who will later go on to play Clara. But we'll find out the significance of Oswin later down the line. And from there on, the story just gets so confusing. And for some reason, which I cannot fathom, Amy and Rory are split up. Yeah, for some reason, they decide to divorce. Like, where has this come from? I just feel like Amy and Rory's story is so overdone by this point. I really think they should have left at the end of Series 6. They really should have done, because dragging them in to Series 7 was just pointless. You know, after all they'd been through with Madame Kavarian, and the fact that they had River as their daughter, they should have settled down as a family at the end of Series 6. But no, apparently, Amy and Rory are divorced. Yay! There's this stupid, idiotic argument that just comes completely from out of nowhere. The fact that, you know, Rory wants to put his band on Amy. It's really confusing as to the whole, you know, the armbands thing. Basically, the fact of our relationship is I love you more than you love me. And she's like, how can you say that? And then they go into something about Demon's Run. She's like, you know, you've always wanted kids, but I can't have them. Hello? You have a daughter! River Song! Did you just forget about that? Well, clearly, I don't understand what Moffat was trying to do here. It's okay to create some tension, but at the end of the story, they're back together again. So what was the point? You know, if it was going to be a long-running arc throughout Series 7 Part 1, until their exit, if they got back together at the very last moment of the Angels Take Manhattan, that would have made more sense. But no, they just for no reason, they're getting divorced. They're having this stupid argument. They forget that they have a daughter already. And then at the end of the story, Rory's moving back in. So what's the point? You know, there's no reason why they're splitting up. You know, Amy just says, oh, you know, it happens, life. You know, people just fall out of love. You know, there's no reason as to why they're divorcing. It is just so fucking dumb. It's just stupid. It's really well acted. Don't get me wrong. The acting by Karen Gillan and Arthur Darvill is brilliant. They take it to the emotional level that it is required, but the script is terrible. It is terrible. It is fucking awful. And again, the only thing I can praise is the acting. I mean, Matt Smith, he does a great job as the Doctor. He's continuing to enjoy himself in the role, and I really do have to admire the guy's efforts. I don't know how he puts up with these terrible scripts. I really don't. As for Jenna Coleman, well, we'll talk more about her later down in Series 7 reviews, but her introduction as Oswin. Oswin's a cute character, but I do find the dialogue to be really annoying. Again, it's typical Stephen Moffat. It's just the stupid, sassy, cocky, you know, female characters. You know, he always writes females like this. He always does it, and it's just getting really annoying. I just can't stand some of the dialogues the way that, you know, Clara, well, we'll call her Clara, but she's Oswin. You know, she's so kind of sassy and spunky, and she's making all these sarky comments and remarks, and then in the end she's run, you clever boy, and remember. Why does every female character that Moffat writes have to be like this? I don't get it. I just really don't get it. Again, not Jenna Coleman's fault. Jenna Coleman performs it really well, and she does do a good job, and she is cute to look at. She's wearing a lovely outfit as well, and I like her costume. But the twist that she's a Dalek, okay, kind of cool, but does it matter to the plot? No. I mean, I suppose they were going for some kind of emotional angle, but I didn't care for the character enough to feel sorry for her that she was a Dalek, so I really didn't understand what the point of that was. Literally, this story, there are things that just don't make sense. I cannot understand what the fuck goes on in this story. It is so confusing. There's also a scene when I think Amy's being turned into a Dalek, but I'm not entirely sure. And she's having this vision of, like, people at a party, like there's guys in suits, and then there's these ballerina dancers, and what the hell is all that about? I've got no idea. And the Daleks themselves, oh my god, what the hell was Moffat thinking? He made the Daleks forget the Doctor. Wow, just wow. You know, the one thing that you didn't have to do, you had one job, Moffat, making the Daleks forget the Doctor. And I realise this is a show about time travel, so the Doctor can go and see the Daleks at a different point in time. But still, the fact that he did this makes me mad. And I'm sick and tired of Moffat screwing the continuity of the show. I'm sick and tired of him treating these classic characters and these classic villains like shit. I'm sorry to anyone who likes this story. I really am. But I just didn't think the Daleks were good in this story. I mean, they didn't get much to do. Most of the time, they just stand there and say, eggs, eggs. Or they just blow up. You know, they're literally, they do nothing in this story. Never before has a Dalek story promised so much and delivered so little. Despite the fact that the story actually starts out okay. Like, the leading up to them going onto the Dalek Crucible and seeing that massive parliament of the Daleks. That on a visual level, that looks cool. We have loads of different Daleks. I mean, Moffat, like, teased loads of different Daleks from different eras coming back, but they get fucking nothing to do. They get nothing to do. It's an absolute waste. This story is an absolute waste of potential. It is a fucking mess. The only good things I can say, other than the acting, are some of the production design is quite good, and I do quite like the cinematography for this story. It looks quite cinematic, especially the shot when the Doctor's carrying Amy after he's blown up some of the Daleks. And I just didn't think the comedy was all that good either with Oswin. I'm sorry, I found her to be really annoying, and it's not Jenna Coleman's fault. It really isn't. It's Stephen Moffat. His script is what makes me so mad about this story. This story, I don't know what else to say. I am dumbfounded by it. I am so disappointed beyond belief. It is just awful. And the fact of the matter is, the story doesn't make any sense. It's incoherent. I couldn't follow it. And, you know, once again, it's just proof that Moffat cannot write. He cannot run the show in the way that Russell used to, or like Philip Hinchcliffe used to. Stephen Moffat goes down as one of, if not the worst showrunner the show has ever had. And this story is entire proof of that. Not to mention, the story's a fucking drag. It's like 48 minutes long. It's only one episode, but it feels long. Like, it's very talky. That not much goes on in this story. This should have been like an epic 2-part opening with the Daleks and the Doctor, but no. It's boring. It is fucking boring. And what was the point of that character, the woman with the Dalek eye in her head? Is her name Darla? I can't remember, or Cassandra. I forget what her name is, but the one that sends the message to the Doctor. She says apparently she has a daughter who's trapped in the asylum. I mean, I'm assuming she just made that up because she was being used by the Daleks, but again, it's never explained. God, it's just never explained. So yeah, I'm sorry, this story left me feeling completely like shit, and this is definitely one of the worst stories in Matt Smith's era. I feel so bad, because Matt Smith doesn't have that many Dalek stories, but this goes down as the worst Dalek story ever. I'm sorry. Out of all the ones I've seen, this is definitely the worst so far. I haven't seen Jodie Whittaker's era, so yeah, we'll see about that. What a terrible opening to Series 7. Absolutely terrible. But again, if you like this story, that's absolutely fine. It's just my personal opinion. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention. The titles. Why did they change the titles? They added these really weird colour filters that look strange, and then they changed the Doctor Who logo, and they changed the text of the actors' names. It's just a really bizarre change after Series 5 and 6. I can understand if they wanted to have it a bit of a shake-up, but all the filters and everything, it just doesn't work. And they do this every episode in Series 7 Part 1. They change the titles, and then they're going to change the titles again for Part 2. So what was the point? I just don't like them. I think they look really weird and overly dark and grim. It just doesn't work. So yeah, Asylum of the Daleks is awful. It is fucking awful. I'm going to rate this story E equals MC squared, or in other words, 0 out of 10. Yep, nothing can save this one. Sorry, actors, you tried your best, but you couldn't save it. Murray Gold's music as well is decent enough, but fuck me. Yeah, that was hard to get through, I must admit. But anyway, next time we move on to Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. So stay tuned for that review. And what do you think of Asylum of the Daleks? Please comment down below, let me know, and stay tuned next time when I review Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. So until then, I'm Mr. TARDIS11. Thank you for watching. See ya. Bye for now.